I hope everyone had a wonderful New Year's. I know that I was kind of MIA a bit, especially at the end of last year. There was a lot going on, and now my focus is on Empathic Crow. So I plan to do more content and kind of play around with different things, see what works, what doesn't, what I enjoy, what you enjoy. Any of these readings that I do on YouTube or post even clips of on other platforms, they are just general readings. And what that means is that the energy is intentional and I am focusing on what is going on for whatever the message is that I'm focusing on. At the same time, though, it doesn't mean that everything is for everyone. So if it fits, take it, keep it, think about it. And if it doesn't, it's okay, because maybe another reading will be for you. There's always personal reads. I think I have gotten my booking calendar to finally work properly. And there are 3 different services offered on the website, as well as a course that I just developed to help with nervous system reset, especially for those of us that are highly sensitive, empathic, without labels or anything, or just emotionally run down, exhausted. So enough about that. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time and enjoying and sharing this energy with me. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start the reading. So the first stone that we have for pile 1 is an Azurite Malachite. So there's the Azurite. You can see the sparklies. And the green that's on it, that is Malachite. So this is a combined stone in a raw form. And the question that comes with it is, am I focused on what I want most? So with these 3 card pick a pile, for this particular one, if the stone resonates with you or the card resonates with you or multiple do, go where you're drawn. So the next one, we have this clear quartz. And then the question, funny enough, this is what flew out. Name all the things you love. So it's not really a question, maybe a thinking point. With the Soul Truth cards, I think I had said this, it's a self-awareness card deck. So it's daily questions that will transform your life. And with that, there is some guidance and things that come with it. So this is a Satin Spar / Selenite, same mineral composition, different growth patterns, that is wrapped in copper and has chakra stones on it. My brother made this one for me. So if you're drawn to that, the question is, am I clear on what my soul really wants? So have a think about it. I will have timestamps. I will have a way for you to be able to click on the pile that you want, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm excited, guys. I'll see you in a moment. This is the Radiant Rider-Waite Smith deck, or Rider-Waite Tarot Deck. I always say Smith because I do believe that she was the artist, but doesn't necessarily get a lot of credit for it. Let's go back to the basics. I haven't used the Rider-Waite in quite a while, and this is a smaller space that I am putting my cards on, so I will be pausing to reset the table, the stage, whatever you want to call it each time. All right, so you have Azurite and Malachite as your stone combined, which is deep intuition, grounded emotion, courage, and clarity. And your card is, am I focused on what I want most? Now I will read the back of this at the end of the reading. So I am going to be shuffling right now and pulling cards. Again, with the timestamps, I will try to include when I am shuffling, so that if you want to not watch the shuffling and card pulling, that's fine. But sometimes I do start the reading as I'm pulling cards. So it's kind of a go with the flow, whatever works for you, but also know you might miss something. All right, goodness gracious. This is way too many cards, so we're going to put those back in. But the 5 of Cups is the card that was sticking out the most, and so we'll take that one, which I didn't even remember the question. Am I focused on what I want most? And if you are in this energy, or you have been in the energy of the 5 of Cups, the answer is no. You have not been focused on what you want most. This person is not seeing that there are other opportunities, other things behind them, other choices, paths that they can take. Instead, they're focusing on these cups over here. Now I'm noticing the halo of light around them. So even though their cloak is very dark and their head is down, it doesn't mean that all hope is lost. And there is a higher knowing and guidance that's available to them if they were just to listen. Even when we look at this image, like the cloak and everything, the figure has this darkness around them, even though there's a glowing light. But also, this is a bright sunny day. There's water. Those emotions are distant. So I feel like you've been pushing your emotions to the side, which makes sense why when I chose this stone. Yes, it's Azurite and Malachite, but that looks like a heart. That's cool. But there's very little of that malachite in this stone. So kind of pushing your emotions aside. With that blue, maybe you've been communicating various things, whether that's with yourself, with spirit, with others, and you've been talking a lot. So your throat chakra may be overactive. And like I said, that can even be talking to yourself. But that heart is closed off. So what I'm hearing is the things that you're saying, even if it's not a lot, aren't in alignment with your true feelings. So this is a very closed off energy. Oh, the Queen of Pentacles just fell right out of the deck. So with the Queen of Pentacles, in this card, she is looking down as well, kind of contemplative. You see, her face is kind of down, but it's different. There's a bit more contemplation and a focus on things outside of herself versus in this Five of Cups, the focus is very much so on just what's going on in the past for this person. Whereas the Queen of Pentacles, she's looking at the future. Like she's open to the things around her. We've got the bunny representing kind of that fertility. We've got the flowers, new beginnings. She's very grounded. She's got the red on, root chakra, very grounded. And look at how much more green we have in this photo than even this one. I'm not using the ring light today, trying something different, but it is still glaring. So bear with me as I get used to that. But yeah, the only thing in this photo, there's only two things in this photo that aren't incredibly colorful. The throne that she's sitting on and the mountains in the background. But even with the throne that she's sitting on, there's so many different symbols within that throne. We have an angel down here at the bottom. We have, of course, the goat's head. We also have, it looks like a lion up here. So I'm seeing angelic, that divine connection, also understanding that even if you haven't felt like you're showing yourself or others love, that compassion can still be there. That you are a helper, but it's also about finding balance within that energy. With the goat's head, it's being able to let go of some of these things in the past, understanding that they weren't helpful to you, because it is bringing me to the devil energy with the things that no longer serve us and being able to let go of those things. With the lion, I feel like it's encouraging you to have courage. And there's something in here that looks kind of like a pear. Over here. I don't know if you see that. And so again, I'm hearing Fruit of the Loins. I don't remember what TV show that was from because I don't keep those things in my mind unless it really sticks. So maybe some of this has something to do with, because I'm seeing a child, either you and like your parental figures or you and a child that you have, whether that's a child that's still a child or an adult child. You can't change them. So whoever it is that is bringing in some of this disappointment, you can't change them. You can't change them. You can, I tell people, offer people resources, support, information, but not to your detriment, because people will change when they're ready. And they're not always going to be ready, even if you're presenting them with logical information. And so you're missing out on this joy for yourself. You're missing out on things that could bring you into a state of less anxiety, because I'm seeing this yellow so bright, that solar plexus chakra. You're losing some of that grounding, and your heart may feel like it's broken because you're so focused on wanting the best for that person. And it's not that that's wrong, but at the same time, like I said, it's understanding that you can't make them see their opportunities, and you're missing out on your opportunities because you're so focused on trying to convince them. And I think that's why I've honed in on her face and seeing that it feels like she's aware. She is looking up, like her eyes are up, but her head is down, like she's still missing out on things. So though I do have training in tarot, I also, so flipping out and landing right side up on the top of the deck, we have the Death card. But I am an intuitive reader, so each card can mean a different thing for each person, each reading. It just depends on the energy. So yeah, here we have the Death card. And if you've heard me say it before, other people say it, do not fear the Death card. What this is saying is that in order for new things to come in order for you to move forward, something has to end. And the things that are ending usually aren't things that were necessary, or they may be things that were creating these difficulties or rigid structures or rules that were not helpful to you. So it's not something that you have to worry about too much. It's knowing that there's a sun coming up back here, this new beginning. It's finding the balance and creating new structures. And I'm trying to look and see. Yeah, in this card, what I'm trying to see is if there's anything kind of popping out more for this reading than maybe what I've seen in others. It's different each time. I'm with the king here on the ground and then the child looking up. You may be in this energy right here of looking away. You don't necessarily want to see it. You already know that something needs to change. You already know that things that you've been doing aren't working. But at the same time, it's like you're stuck. You're stuck in that cycle and you feel like, I don't see another way out. You're still seeing the mountains instead of all of the things that are around you. And so that king is the things that you've been trying to do, you're going to have to let it go. But it doesn't necessarily mean a death, like in the sense of this image right here. It's knowing that, like with the child who has flowers on them, and I know I keep pausing, but there's just so much in this card. What is that in front of the... Oh, okay. So that's what I'm seeing. There was something that kept catching my eye, and here's what it is. So you're turning away from change. But this child right here, the new beginning, has, look, the hand is grabbing the arm. So this new beginning is saying, come here, come on, I got you. We got this. It's okay. You don't have to worry about it. He's not as scary as he looks. So you're getting some encouragement from somewhere, whether that's from your inner child, from your higher self, divine guidance, or even people in your life. Somebody is trying to say to you, come on, it's okay. And you have your head turned, you're ignoring it. So we've talked about that past energy and present energy, but what needs to be the focus? How do you move forward? What's going to help encourage you? And you may already know. This one popped out to the side, so we'll take that one. Let's see if there's anything else before I pick that up. How do you know that it's okay for you to move on? How can you give yourself permission? Because it is okay. You just got to give yourself permission and allow it. So we've had two cards just kind of jump out to the side. I don't reverse my cards, but this is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like you have been trying, again, so hard to be this person that is helpful, giving the information, trying to help others out. But unfortunately, what's happening is that you're working too hard. You're putting in all this work, and it's not helping. It's not bringing in an energy that is fruitful or abundant. This reading's definitely different than ones I've done before. You've got these polka dots right here. And so in this card, this looks like a very serious situation, but then you've got this red and yellow cloak and then these red boots. Like, it's like you've been so serious and working so hard that you've lost that playfulness. You've lost that zest for life is what I'm hearing. I keep seeing a lemon. I don't know if before you were like, I keep hearing Spitfire, like, even if you weren't somebody that, because this isn't the energy, not like somebody that just goes off on everyone, but like this, what do they say? Lust for life is what I'm hearing. Like this, just this zest, this like energy, this spirit of like fun and enjoyment. I know I said like, I don't know how many times. And look, the colors are very similar. Like it's saying right now, you still have it in you. But you're instead just putting so much focus into working on things that aren't working out for you. Look, purple, purple. This needs to end. This is not working. Overworking to try to help others to your detriment is not helping you. Shut up. We've got the Empress. So you've got the Queen of Pentacles and the Empress. This is an energy that you could be in right now, but you're so focused on things that you can't change. Which, am I focused on what I want most was the card. I keep saying focus and I keep forgetting that's the question that we had. It's definitely about shifting your focus. Notice that in the Empress card, she is looking up. Now, she doesn't look sad, upset. She just looks calm. She's rested. She's just like, she may have some worries, but she's not letting herself focus on them too much. She's grounded. She's in that sacral chakra energy with all of this orange, more playful, more accepting of what comes, not necessarily focused on the past so much. Even the forest is behind her. The water, the emotions are coming down. They're there, but they're just kind of coming down the stream. It's very settled. Lots of orange and yellow in here. She's got a quiet confidence. Her solar plexus is balanced. And then the stars on the crown, that it's okay for you to shine. Even if others are struggling right now and you've been trying so hard, so hard to help them and to help them do different things. And it's just not working because they have to make that choice. You can't make it for them. So we have the the Empress coming in and saying, look at what you have already. You just have to focus on it. You already have abundance. You're already a person who is very nurturing and kind and caring, but you've got to give some of that caring back to yourself. So before we go into any oracle decks to clarify a bit more, let's go ahead and read the back of this Soul Truth card. One reason so few of us achieve what we truly want is that we never direct our focus. Is that we never direct our focus. We never concentrate our power. Most people dabble their way through life, never deciding to master anything in particular. So that's a Tony Robbins quote. And I don't know about any of the rest of you if you're here on YouTube, but his most recent advertisement or whatever comes up in almost everything that I watch lately. So that's funny that he's the quote on the back of the card. But that's exactly what we're talking about. Few of us achieve what we truly want because we aren't directing our focus. We are not concentrating our power. So you already have the Queen of Pentacles and the Empress. There's a lot of power there, and not in a way that it's forceful, but in a way that it's nurturing, it's kind, it's something that can draw people in, but you've also got to set those boundaries. And if you are so focused on trying to help and do everything for everyone else and trying to help them change, not focusing on yourself, you definitely do not have balance. And that's part of, I'm seeing it where there's the Azurite and the Malachite. Sometimes we have to, and I talked about that blue, the throat chakra is overactive. It's going to be pulling your voice back when it comes to trying to, I hear push. I was going to make it more gentle, but Spirit said push, push. Push people into doing things because, like I said, it looks almost like a heart. You're coming from the heart when you do this, but it's not helping. It's just making things harder for you. And then your heart, it's like your compassion to yourself is diminishing, and I'm hearing resentment. So I feel like some of the things that you're doing and how it's being received could be creating feelings close to resentment, if not just fatigue and burnout. So the soul action for you, and I think this is where we'll stop. I'm not going to clarify with anything more than the cards and the soul truth. That'll be enough for today. What you focus on grows. Today, ask yourself, is my life a reflection of my values, or do I need to make adjustments? And at the bottom it says, prioritize. You got to make yourself a priority. And I know that's going to be hard because you're an incredibly compassionate and caring person. But if you do not make yourself a priority, you're stuck. Change doesn't happen. And you will end up continuing to feel like you're in the 5 of Cups when you could be in this. And also, when you focus on yourself and you start doing self-care, you're modeling for other people what they could have and how they could do things differently. And sometimes that's more powerful than using your voice. So pile 1, that is your message. I hope that it was helpful. And if it was, definitely leave me a comment, especially when we're trying new things and seeing how this goes. And if you want to go further in that, you can always book a reading. I have more availability now, and I'm very excited about that. So yeah. Thank you, pile 1. And you can watch other videos if you felt called to them, or just stay with this where you are. Not other videos, but the other parts, piles. I'll get used to all this language at some point. All right. See you later. All right, pile 2. You chose either the Quartz heart and or the card, name all the things you love. So we are going to get started with pulling cards from the Rider-Waite deck. This is the Radiant Rider-Waite version. I'm going to shuffle 3 times. I have already shuffled them after pile 1's reading, but I want to make sure that we get them a little bit more ready. I don't know why I felt the need to ground a bit more before your reading. So this may be heavy or not. We'll see. I'm seeing a rainbow in this quartz, though, as I looked down at it, which I don't think I can capture it on camera. Nope, and that's okay. So yeah, Spirit's sending you a rainbow. When I set it back down, I can see it. You just can't see it on camera. So with the quartz heart, of course, hearts often are going to represent that love and a very compassionate energy. With quartz, we're looking at the master healer. We're looking at a stone that amplifies the energy around us. And just understand that with amplification, sometimes it can be of things that we want. Sometimes it can be things that we don't want. With pile 1, there was a lot of talk about focusing your attention on things. And I feel like that's, even if it's not a theme, it's an important message to keep in mind for you, pile 2, is that what we think, yeah, the second thing I wrote down was enhance mental clarity. So with that quartz stone, what we think can be amplified, even if that's things that you don't want. If that's worries, anxieties, not that you're not going to have worries and anxieties. That was a weird way to say that. But being able to try to reframe it. Also, we're looking at kind of aura cleanse and enhancing your energy flow. So let's go ahead and get started. What cards? Goodness gracious. I swear the cards are like very definitive today. Not that they aren't always. Oh yes. So 6 of Pentacles. You're a giver. Just like pile 1, you're a giver. But you're not very good at receiving. So like this person here is giving, but they're not in that state of compassion. They're not in this heart energy. They're just giving almost in this way that they, or not almost, in a way that it's like they are seeming to be above others. I just saw the colors in his outfit, and this feels important for me to say. Notice that the green is on his boots. So it's like his heart, he's pushed it down. Like it's there, but at the same time, I could say it's grounded, but that's not how it feels in the energy of this intuitive example of this. There's very little green in this. I feel like this green is kind of just showing this person is somebody who, this is somebody you know. This person is someone who acts like they are so generous and kind, and they're very over the top, very overt in the way that they show that they are a kind and caring person. And you're not in this energy down here. You're on the outside of it looking in. Like they're trying to look like they got this balance here. And balance also with the scales can be about justice. And so they're trying to make it seem like this is a just thing. This is balanced. Like I have all this stuff and I'm helping other people with it. But they're not doing it in a way where it's like, you know, someone may make a big post about how they helped someone. And not to say that that's wrong, but then you have somebody else who's going around doing a lot more to help themselves and to help others, because we have to include ourselves in that compassion. And they're not really saying much. This person's just making a big show of it. And they're looking for people that need them. But really, they need that validation. They need that image. I'm seeing a lion, but not in the way of a confident lion. Like this is that lion, the roar, the vibrato, like the kind of intimidating stare, instead of the quiet, I'm here, and if you try me, especially if you try to do anything to those I love, then I may do something, but otherwise I'm just here. So you're that lion that's kind of like, I don't want to do anything. I'm coming from a place of caring. But there's someone in your life who is not that way. They are not that way. So pile 2, why are we starting your reading off that way? I heard this is the world around you. So you are one of my people that I completely understand. You are one of my people who are highly sensitive. We don't have to put a label on it, but you are very empathetic. You are very observant. And you see the injustice and the imbalance. And so this is where you're struggling right now. This is why we have the heart coming through. Because you see, you see what's going on. Yeah. So we have the 4 of Pentacles. You see other people like tightly holding on to these things that they have. Like trying to seem like they're sitting on top of the throne. Like even, and these cards have been shuffled many times. So we've got the 4 and the 6 of Pentacles. So you're seeing how people are looking like they're trying to give things. And other people are like, oh yes, this is so helpful. That is great. At least we get this. And you're like, no, that's not okay. Because like they're holding the abundance. They're acting like that they have to hold on so tightly. They're actually not giving you the things that you want. And I'm not even talking necessarily, even though from my accent, you can probably tell that I'm in the States. I'm not even necessarily talking about that, although that may be what's impacting your heart right now. Yeah, because look, with this red and this purple, typically I would look at that as like root chakra grounding and kind of that violet, maybe even third eye and crown. But the way I'm seeing it right now is that red color putting in that, facade is the only word coming to me, of having power. Red being a power color, and that royal purple being like a, royal color, like a ruler. There we go. That's the word. I knew it was an R word that just wasn't coming into my head. Like someone trying to be a ruler. And so they're trying to create abundance by giving so little, whether that's money, emotions, love, compassion. And like I said, this isn't necessarily even that it's just one thing. It could even be structures that you grew up in. It could be things that you see within your family or circles that you're in even right now. But this is something that's very difficult for you. All right, so we just had a bunch of cards flip over, so I'm going to put them back in, make sure that they're all face down. Okay. And we're going to try again. Okay. Spirit's like, I'm trying to give you multiple cards at the same time and you're going to take them. So we have 2 cards. The 2 of Pentacles came out and the Page of Cups. So with the 2 of Pentacles, it's funny because I often talk about this as kind of like feeling pulled to different choices and things and having options. But I feel like this is encouraging you, and similar energy to what I said with pile 1 with a cloak that had, it was yellow with red polka dots. And this is another jester looking outfit. Kind of Peter Pan-ish in a way, except for the color scheme's a little off. But you have like this really funny looking hat. You've got these pointed shoes, and it's like a jester. And it feels like what it's saying is for you to get back in a playful mode. That these decisions and choices, you feel like they're so heavy. And while they may be heavy and these waves behind him, they're rocky. But look at this ship going up over top of it. Like it's not drowning in the water. It's not sinking in the water. Here's a smaller one back here and it's still going over the wave. I haven't like read this way or noticed this before. And even with this, while the ground may be plain, I feel like this is saying you just got to get grounded, but also playful. So if you get grounded, but you're also playful, here's some root chakra here, but you got to pull your heart into every aspect and get into that solar plexus and sacral chakra, that playful, confident, bringing in more joy energy. Then this is going to be helpful to you. Then your options feel more abundant, like you have more options than when you're just looking at all these structures and situations, whatever they are, that are making you feel, I just keep hearing like your heart's broken. Like you don't know what to do because you've been so kind-hearted for so long. Ooh, lump in my throat. I don't know if that's what you're feeling. You've been so kind-hearted for so long. And just know, it's not all for nothing. It's not all for nothing. And it is okay for you to have joy, even if situations are not easy for you or other people around you. He's got a glow around him. Same as with the first card that I had pulled out of pile 1. So maybe you want to look at pile 1's reading and see if there are little pieces of information or things that you resonate there too. But pile 1, the first card out was the 5 of Cups. And I talked about how with him, his energy was more closed off, but there was a halo around part of his body, or a glow. With this one, the glow is around the whole of part of this person's body, including down here underneath them. So you are a light, you're a radiant light, your heart shines, and it's not that you have to dim or dull that light completely. It's just that you have to focus some of that energy on you and recognize your opportunities. With this Page of Cups, his face, what is going on with his face? There is like this mischievous look on this Page of Cups face that I've not really paid attention to before. Again, I feel like you're needing to get into a more playful energy. With this page, I'm feeling like what this is saying to you is that part of starting to balance your emotions and your heart, and the card says name all the things you love, is for you to be able to get curious and focus on what are the things that I enjoy? What are the things that are good in my life? What are the things that keep me grounded, that help me to feel comfortable in my space? Notice that he's again got on these red leggings. There's grounding going on. There's red on his sleeves. He's got on yellow boots and he's on the yellow sand, or gold colored as well. So we're looking at that solar plexus chakra and knowing that it's okay for you to let go of some of these anxieties. You're still going to have worry. You can't change everything and everyone around you. Again, your reading is very different and yet similar to pile 1. There's something with the design that's on his tunic. I just keep hearing, even though there aren't any clouds in this card, these are kind of a grayish color, but it looks silver to me. And I just keep hearing, look for the silver lining. And there are lines running through the tunic. Like, look for the silver lining. We're going to pull a couple more cards, or try to pull a couple more cards and see what comes through with this. Your reading is definitely flowing a little bit quicker than pile one's. Pile one's felt very like, move a little forward, stop. Move a little forward, stop. I feel like that was kind of the mental energy that was going on with pile one. Whereas for you, it's like you're trying to push forward, you're trying to move, but I keep seeing like this wheel spinning. Like it's not really doing anything. What am I supposed to do? But you're focused on the energy of trying to change all of this. And you are one person. You cannot change all of this. You can do things to try to help the situation, but you cannot change all of this. But part of the way that you change your world is that you focus on things that you love, that you enjoy, that bring you more peace. The Hierophant is the card that flew out. So with this Hierophant, what is it that I'm seeing in this? The keys were definitely the first thing that came up. All right, so they are not, but I'm seeing like ghost shapes on this person's tunic, and that's not something that I've noticed before. And I'm hearing just ghosts of the past. The other one has roses, new growth. So that's the way I'm reading this right now. Again, that's not necessarily the original meaning. So we've got one person that's representing the ghost of the past. We've got one person that's representing new growth. And then we've got the two keys in the middle. And there's the Hierophant. The Hierophant looks impartial. But that hat and the structure of it, again, somebody that you would go to for leadership, religious leadership possibly, or spiritual development. So I'm hearing you are the key. So in the past, you may have looked to other people to help you decide what was good, what was right, what was something that you should do. And it's letting go of those shoulds. Again, we've got, because I keep looking at the red and the blue, and I'm like, this is again showing kind of like that power with the red. And then with the blue, this is somebody who may be speaking out quite a bit. But there's not a lot of blue in there. Like they're not necessarily saying much. It's more about the presence, like how that red is just dominating and the crown is dominating. So whoever this is, it may be different than this person, and it doesn't even have to be necessarily a person. It could be structures or people that you've encountered. Same with this card. This is energy that you're wanting to get away from. So this is where the ghosts of the past come in. And then with that, the flowers and everything, being able to do that new beginning. Because this is not balanced right here. And with these two columns, I'm hearing you're wanting to have balance, communicating balance, and it's not happening. I'm also, interestingly, seeing these images from the time I picked this card up, and I've not seen it this way before. It's reminding me of a drawing of like the ovaries and the female reproductive system. So what I'm seeing is, well, like up there, the goddess, and then I've got a fertility resin structure up there. Not structure, body and form. There's several of them. And so this is about, you've lived in this structure where it was an unbalanced, more masculine energy, where you've been doing and giving and focused on that productivity, provider, trying to live among structures where you have to do things a certain way. And it's you being able to balance out that divine masculine and feminine energy, which these structures right here, this is not divine masculine. This is the perception of what is masculine. It's not the divine masculine, but it's what we have seen as masculine type energy in our modern society. With this, it's being able to balance and not necessarily even speak. Again, there's just minimal blue, but quietly assert that more feminine, divine feminine. So with the divine feminine, we're looking at that creation, that creativity, that nurturing, but also nurturing yourself, like this bringer of life. The portal is what I'm hearing. So knowing that the divine is not necessarily through a person or a structure or a set of rigid rules. The divine is within you. You are the key. And it's being able to find that balance between whatever the old was and what the new is for you. Feels very cryptic, but I think you know what I'm saying. And it's not that I'm even trying to say it in a cryptic way. That's just how it's coming across. But it is about balance. And the card for the Hierophant, the number is a 5, which is change. So this is about change. So I thought one fell on the floor, but it did not. We've got the Page of Swords in reverse. And I don't reverse my cards. They are all going up. But with this Page of Swords, you're standing on the hill trying to decide how you're going to cut through the crap. Because your thoughts are clear. They're already clear. But where you need the clarity and the voice is how you speak your truth and how you let your mind stop worrying and spinning around all these things that, yes, they may affect you, but you can't change them. But part of the way that you change them, like I said, is you're getting into an energy of more compassion, nurturing, playfulness within yourself. And this page is saying solar plexus chakra, root chakra. We do this in a way where we're grounded and we balance those worries and know that it's okay for us to move forward. We can be confident. Even if you feel like you've got only a little ground to stand on. That's what I'm hearing. Little ground to stand on. It doesn't matter. You're still making changes. What is that in the background? Looks like smoke. Might be smoke. And then we got the mountains. Like, yes, there are things that aren't easy or that are distracting or things that may even be concerning. We've even got the birds up here. And sometimes people may see a lot of birds in the sky and they're like, oh God, what's going to happen? But at the same time, birds can be messengers. And I just heard, don't cut yourself off. Don't cut yourself off. Know that you have the ability to move forward with this change. But we've got 2 pages here. So it's things where these are not things that you haven't thought about. You've thought about them, but it's you're being called to take action. You're kind of just sitting there right now and you're being called to take action. All right, let me cover up the parts that need to be covered up because we got the Star card. So with the Star card, it is allowing yourself to become grounded. She's got 1 foot on the ground that we may or may not be able to see. All right, or at least a leg. And then she's got 1 in the water. She's got the 2 jugs that she's pouring in. So understanding that with this, I'm seeing you filling your cup while you're also helping others. But notice she's focused on this cup in front of her, and this one's just kind of there. So I feel like with that, in this reading, it's talking about, I can't get my finger, there we go. I'm hypermobile, but my fingers only do so much. So with this, it's being able to fill your cup. You can still contribute or help other people, but you've got to focus on filling your cup. We also have this bird in the tree. What is that making me think of? It's an orange bird. Even though it's not a phoenix, the orange is giving me a phoenix energy because it almost looks like, are we covering everything? No. Oh, I almost showed her chest. It's not a phoenix, but notice that it looks kind of like it has this orange yellow glow. So this is you being able to have that rebirth, getting grounded, getting clear, balancing your emotions, pouring more into yourself so that you can help others. You're healing, and also with that bright star, being able to shine, to not feel like you have to pull yourself in. Because in all three of these cards, there's this one person, but they're all kind of by themselves, and that you can shine. You don't have to like hide your playfulness. You don't have to just keep your dreams, your hopes, your ideas, your thoughts to yourself. And you can speak out and speak your truth, and it'll be okay. But it's through the star card and that healing. All right, so that's quite a bit. Oh, as I say healing, the Three of Swords comes out. And I had mentioned before, you're healing your heart. And that's not always an easy thing to do. And we may have to do it multiple times in our lifetime. But you are healing your heart. It's happening, but you're going to have to let go of some things. All right, so what is something that pile 2 can do to get out of this energy? What can they do to be able to promote healing? There was a card that apparently had turned over at some point, so just put that back in. If it's meant to come out, it will. How do we heal? How does pile 2 heal? By recognizing you're the magician. You don't need the answers. The answers are already within you. You already have all of the tools. Like I said, you're the key. And you can choose the key to the past, or you can choose the key to the present or future. I'm seeing the present and future as the same thing right now because you've already been through the past. So what I'm seeing is you recognizing in the present moment that you have all the things you need for this new beginning. You have all the tools. And you don't need anyone's permission. You're the magician. But at the same time, you have to choose it. You have to choose yourself. Yeah, I'm being brought back to the image of the Hierophant versus the image of the magician. It's not seeing and seeking answers outside of you or doing what is considered conventional or what you would have done in the past based on the thoughts and structures that you believed. This is you being able to create within yourself. And even I just saw this violet belt, sash, whatever you want to call it, that divine connection, higher self, or even source, God, universe, creator, whatever it is outside of yourself, spirit guides, angels. But it's being able to connect back within and being able to get the guidance outside of sources and structures that have not been helpful to you. Yeah. I think that's at pile 2. So we will read the back of this card. Name all the things you love. Are you one of them? That was the whole point of the reading. I'm not kidding. Look, are you one of them? Today's mantra, I give myself all the love and attention I need. So name all the things you love. Make sure that you're one of them. And give yourself all the love and attention that you need Stop focusing on all this other stuff. You're going to know about it. It's still going to come to mind, but allow it to be smaller and something that you think about less, unless there is something that you can do and want to do. If you choose to do it, that's on you. But trying to put a little bit more compassion and love into yourself. All right, pile 2. I hope that was helpful. I feel like that was a really good reading. It did have some resonance with pile 1. So if you feel like you want to go back and watch some of that reading, you can. And I'm going to be moving on to pile 3. Thank you so much. All right, pile 3. Piles 1 and 2 have delivered very direct and powerful messages that intertwined a little bit. Let's see what your reading brings. So for pile 3, you resonated with the card, am I clear on what my soul really wants? And or the Satin Spar / Selenite, depending on what you want to call it, log that has the copper wire wrapping and the chakra stones in it. Thank you to JP's Twisted Crystals. I'm going to go ahead and give my brother a shout out because this was one of his earlier pieces. But, oh, and this was another one of his earlier pieces. But I'm going to give him a shout out because he does amazing work. And it's my video and it's my brother. All right, pile 3. Without further ado, let's get to your reading. So with that Selenite / Satin Spar and the chakra stones, we're looking at a calm, protective energy. We're looking at being able to balance the energy flow within us, balance those chakras, having peace, and also it's a spiritual connection. So we're looking at also, I just thought it came into my mind, cleansing, but also with that copper wire, we're amplifying the energy of those chakras. These are pre-shuffled. I shuffled them quite a few times because pile 2, there were a lot of cards that came out or wanted to come out. I'm feeling like I need to ground myself. For pile 2 and pile 3, you guys, I'm feeling this call to just pause and breathe. So I feel like you need to pause and breathe. Question is, am I clear on what my soul really wants? Let's pause and breathe. You're having a hard time with that pausing and breathing. Like, I still feel like my internal energy is ramped up. I get now why you got that Selenite Satin Spar with the chakra stones. Like, you are being called to ground yourself. You're being called to let go of some of those worries, some of those anxieties. The card that came out is the High Priestess. So, and I'm going to take my hair down because after a while it starts hurting my head. All right. So the High Priestess, like, your intuition is on point. All of us have intuition. Your intuition is heightened, whether that is because you just have a high intuition naturally, and or there are things, whether it's anxiety, worry, emotional imprints, some of those things that have happened that keep us more on guard, whether it's trauma or not. You feel like you're having to be hyper vigilant. It's like you're presenting as balanced. You know, we've got these 2 columns, and even her face is like looking calm. And at the same time, it feels like there's not a calm. And then again, I'm an intuitive reader. So with this reading, I may say I never have interpreted these things this way, but I haven't. The blues on her outfit, I'm seeing the darker blue and the lighter blue. And I'm feeling like this is partly that with speaking your truth, with even speaking things that come to your mind, you're silencing yourself. Like, you're having this battle between, and it's internal. What do I say? What do I not say? I heard you're feeling stifled. She's got the Torah in her hand. And there's the moon, of course, down here in her dress. So this may be very similar to pile 2, that this may be about some of the structures, whether it's structures from when you were growing up or structures now or both, that you're feeling like you're having to hide that knowing, that you're not able to speak your truth, even though you've got that pearl of wisdom and you're very nurturing. You're somebody who can be very creative, but it feels like you're having to pull that back, or you feel like you need to pull that back. Her skirt, her dress is also looking like waves, and it's wrapped around the moon. So I feel like this is saying your emotions are tied into that worry. Like that is, I'm seeing like a swirl, like a water spout. And it's like, it kind of goes and then it dissipates. And then it comes and it dissipates. Like it's this anxiety spiral. So even when you know that your intuition's on point, you're doubting yourself. You're doubting yourself. Question, am I clear on what my soul really wants? Well, that's interesting. This came out in pile 2 near the end. We have the 3 of Swords. You are guarding your heart. So it's coming out in a little bit different way. There is the healing aspect of pile 2 that we talked about. But you're guarding your heart. That's why people know that you are intelligent, clear, kind. You're trying to create those boundaries because in the past, yeah, I was wondering why I kept noticing the fact that this tapestry is behind her, but it's almost like it's pushed back. And I'm not saying that's necessarily how it was intended, but that's the way I'm seeing it. You pushed back some of that more nurturing aspect and brought forward some of these more balanced and less readable presentations because of the anxiety. Like this is wrapped up down here in her skirt and it's at the bottom. People are mostly going to focus on the face. So you've tried to push back your nurturing. You care about people. You've tried to set those boundaries because there's been heartache along the way. And as I say that, like you're reading, my energy is just draining. And it's not in that calm, grounded way. It's heavy, not in like the weighted blanket that I sometimes will say in my reading. This is like, I am exhausted. Whew. And this is why we had to take a breath at the beginning, pile 3. I'm just trying to hold it together. Like I feel like I'm on the verge of tears. 2, 3. The High Priestess is 2. The Swords is 3. There's something about 2, 3. And I just looked up at the piles. So I don't know if watching pile 2's reading would be helpful for you in addition to pile 3, this reading. That feels right. So if you feel called to do that, if that feels right for you, then please do. I'm also seeing on my cup, the sticker that is pointing to me is a skeletal rib cage and a sunflower and a pink flower. And I have stickers all around, so I don't put this straw in any particular way or put it facing me in any way, but I think that's also a sign for me to drink some water. And then the next sticker, I set it down in this way, is the bee representing often community with those flowers. You've pulled yourself away. And with that skeletal rib cage, it's like I'm seeing, again, that presentation that you put up. Like you're not feeling as though you're able to completely be yourself. You may even feel like a skeleton, a shell of yourself. The flowers I'm seeing as that heart, that balanced energy, that calm, that it's not even just calm. It's your personality as a whole. There's glimpses of it. It's wanting to come through, just like these flowers, proportionately to the rib cage. They're small, but the yellow, that solar plexus, that kind of how you perceive yourself, those worries and everything. And the pink, it's interesting that the pink on both of those images is out to the side. There is some green throughout. So yeah, your heart is unbalanced. And because of that, you've put up this wall that looks like a balanced perspective, but you've had to push that compassion and nurturing to the back burner. The bee has the yellow on it as well. And then the wings, there's a little bit of orange with that playfulness. And I do believe that was something that came out in pile 1 and pile 2's reading as being more playful. There's something wanting to come through, but it's right on the edge. This is how your intuition is coming through right now. Like there's something that you'll start to get a message, whatever way that you get it. It can be so many different ways. And for me, it can depend on what the message is and how it's coming through. And I need to organize that. So this is a rolling desk. Please excuse that. I'm not going to delete or take that out though. And maybe that's, hey, there we go, pile 3. I had put the camera intentionally in one section because I need to reorganize my room with all the stuff that I've been doing, finishing up 2-decade career and then finishing a course that I've created, all this stuff. And so I have quarantined myself for that course to create a calmer vision to a small corner with a little desk. And I feel like it's important for me to share that with you because I wasn't going to say those things because part of the course was talking about not over explaining, but this is important to you. That's what you're doing. Like you've put yourself in this small space and you're not meant to be in a small space, but allowing yourself to be seen, allowing yourself to let people see all of the parts of you, even the ones that are messy, even the ones that aren't organized, the ones that don't look like they have it all together because this moon is hidden. That's what has felt like it's a safety net for you, that it's kept you safe, that people perceive you in a certain way. They're still going to judge you. People are going to judge. But you're presenting what you feel like is the most balanced perspective, that you're carrying and you're balanced. And it's not that you aren't, but you're still stifling yourself. All right. I'm coming back to your question again because it keeps coming up. Am I clear on what my soul really wants? So we had 2 cards flip over. The first one is the 6 of Cups. This feeling that you can't be yourself, it started in childhood. That's what I'm seeing. Like these children, look at how playful they are, how kind they are. They've got on bright colors. They're in this bright image. But at some point there was a heartbreak there. You felt like you couldn't be yourself. Notice that everything with the children is bright, but this person, this adult here in the background, they've got on this dull color. And I'm seeing that for you, I'm seeing children just like playing and skipping, but then they stop. Like they have to stop. They're being told to grow up. Stop playing games. Stop being silly. And then even with this little girl's dress, it's yellow with some red dots. And even in pile 1, there was nope, it's not going to come to me which card it was, but either way, an image of this cloak that was yellow with red polka dots and kind of a silly hood on it. And so it was being playful. You're being called back to that playful energy, knowing that you can be grounded. You can speak your truth. You can have like this confidence and joy and play in your life. And that's what brings this balance, because you're out of balance right now. And it's not because it's your fault. It's not something that you tried to create. You were trying to live in the structures. Like notice, again, structure, all gray. The house is neutral and then a darker color on top. Like everything except for these children and these cups with the flowers in them is neutral or a darker color. And I heard like suck the life force energy out of you. Like I'm seeing the Dementor from Harry Potter, like, because this happened when you were young. Like, this isn't like you were a young adult or something like that and somebody was like, you got to grow up, you got to mature. This was you being parentified or having to stifle yourself and your energy at a very young age. And that's a really hard thing to heal because we get into these really deeply ingrained patterns. The other card that came out was the Eight of Cups. So we've got 2 cups here. So your emotions definitely need to heal and be balanced, which is why we have the Selenite with the chakra stones. This is needing to cleanse and balance your energy. And also to recognize, notice that he has color on him, whereas this person over here, right there, does not. And this is an adult. So I feel like this is saying you got to walk away from the structures that took away this playfulness. These 8 of Cups, they didn't serve you because at least 6 of them were taken away. I don't know why I'm saying taken away, but that feels right. Like you felt like they were taken away. We come back to the moon. First card was the High Priestess, and we've got a moon here and we've got a moon here. But this time, instead of the moon being somewhat hidden in the dress, the emotions being wrapped up around the moon. And this card, the moon, you can see there's a face on it. And it looks like there's a bit of sadness, but it's also illuminating this area that could look somewhat treacherous, but also has a lot of green in it. So you've got the grounding of the red in the coat and the boots of this person, and then the green in the leggings. So grounding in that heart chakra, finding a balance between safety, security, stability of the root chakra, but also allowing yourself to have that love and compassion and heal. There's so much green in here. Even the mountains, which the mountains in many of these cards are typically gray, but these are green. And under that moonlight, you even see the blue of the water. Balance is within. Balance is something that you can achieve. And he's got his walking stick. It doesn't mean the journey is going to be easy. And it doesn't mean that you have to fully give up the things that are coming from your past. It's just being able to, like I said, heal them. All right, pile 3. Let's see if anything else comes out from the tarot deck. This is why this felt so heavy. Like you've got some inner child stuff that's going on, and it's affecting you and how you are living your life right now. The 5 of Pentacles, yeah. It's feeling like you've lost. Again, there's this energy of loss and not having things. I heard stripped away. And in here, it may be that, you know, they're walking past this window and there's pentacles kind of representing the abundance that's around this building, and they're out in the snow and they don't have even some of the basic things they need. Like there's no shoes on this person. This person doesn't have shoes either. They've got socks, but they're both out there in the cold, and this person's even on crutches, and there's a wind because you can see the dress coming. Like your life has been hard, and to hear that going forward there may be some bumps in the road is scary, and that's part of why you've pulled your energy back, because you know on one hand what would be helpful for you, but you also know how the choices and decisions that you've tried to make in the past have been met, or that sometimes it felt safer to not share those things. Yeah, so your reading is a lot heavier energy, pile 3, but we're going to look at what does pile 3... 10:27 on the clock when I looked up, which would be a 10 and a 9. And what flew out is the 10 of Cups. Right as I was saying that your energy's been heavy, the 10 of Cups comes out and says, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. You're a chain breaker. Remember I talked about with the kids and you? There was a time in your life when you may have been playful, curious, and you allowed yourself just to explore and exist. Maybe be creative, be curious about things. And look at these children. They're not even as calm energied as the children in this card. And this is a different time. And these children are just playing and laughing. And the adults, they're not wearing the dark color of the gentleman back here. The adults are in these bright colors. And then you have the rainbow. And all of the cups are represented. Like I talked about these cups, those 6 cups, feeling like they were just taken from you. Things were stripped away from you. And what this is saying is, this may be how it feels that you were left out in the cold. I knew there was a phrase 111 on the clock. Actually, it was 1 hour, 11 minutes and 55 seconds when I looked up. There were too many like synchronicities. So you felt like you had to push through, left out in the cold, left to do things on your own. And it's not that that wasn't true, because as we see with the 2 columns, there are things that are true and they are opposite sides sometimes. This is the duality in life, the yin and the yang, the paradoxical aspects of our existence. And you are a walking paradox right now, because you are this beautiful energy, highly intuitive, compassionate person, but it's like you're having to wear a mask. It's part of that sense of safety and security to wear the mask so that your light isn't that bright, so that people don't see it, so you don't get hurt. Because in your life, being yourself meant that you were told to dim your light. I'm seeing also with this 8 of Cups, like walking in the dark, like you're having to kind of just walk in the dark when it's not light outside, to not be noticed. That's what I'm hearing, to not be noticed. But look at this. This is not dimming your light. This is not trying to not be noticed. This is getting into that playful energy. And there's a lot of blue in here that you can speak your truth. The emotions in this card, even in the 8 of Cups, we have those emotions coming through, and the waters are calm. I talked about how the High Priestess, her dress looks like these rough waters wrapped around the moon and anxieties. Here, you still have the moon. It's still illuminating things, and some of the things aren't things that you want because they may be more difficult to go through. But at the same time, the water's calmer. The emotions are calmer. It's getting out of this energy of feeling like I was left out in the cold, because even though that may be true, and you did have a lot of hardships, look at what you create. No, I was corrected. I heard, look at what you created. I heard, open your eyes just now. I want some more clarity on that. I have not used cards other than the Rider-Waite Smith. Radiant Rider-Waite deck is the official title of that deck. But I'm feeling called to it. So let me look over here and see what's calling to me. I'm really feeling like Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed is calling to me. Now this deck I'm a bit newer to. I haven't used it as much. I'm not as clear on some of the meanings, so we may have to use the guidebook, but that'll be okay. But this is really calling to me. There's something that we need to clarify with that 10 of Cups. Like, and I'm also noticing right now the sky around them is glowing, but there is a darkness to it. So I don't know where that's coming from. It's feeling kind of like you can either see the darkness outside of you, or you can see and shine the light within you. But we're going to pull at least one card from this Wisdom of the Hidden Realms. I'm being slowed down right now. Your energy has been heavy and then kind of escalated, and then heavy and escalated. And I don't know if that's how you've been feeling, Likely it is with the cards that we pulled in the history that's come through. But Spirit, again, is wanting you to ground, because it's about balance. It's about balancing and drawing in your energy and pushing forward that energy in a way that feels contained, I heard. And then I looked at the selenite, and it's the selenite or satin spar is contained in the structure of the copper, but the structure of the copper is not taking away any like of the shine or value from the satin spar. It's actually enhancing it. It's just kind of creating a decorative but also powerful, I heard cage, but not in a way that it's fully caged. So this is you being able to get out of that energy that we talked about with the high priestess, where it's you're having to hide parts of yourself. Nothing is hidden within the wrap of the copper. All it does is it creates a more decorative and actually draws more attention aspect to the stone. And then the chakra stones on the top bring even more attention, especially with the bright colors. And together they create a balance. So like I said, with the 10 of Cups, you are being called to allow yourself to shine more. We're still going to pull a card from, oh, I never noticed that before. I haven't used these a lot, but there's a butterfly up here. This is your butterfly transformation. This is your butterfly transformation. And a path where you're going through the door. Look, there's the moon. But this looks more inviting than scary, right? All right. Am I clear on what my soul really wants? That's your soul truth card. I'm really feeling called to breathe again. So let's breathe. Just breathe. Pile 3. What is the wisdom from the hidden realm that you are... Goodness gracious, I don't know if that showed up on camera, but it just flipped out. And I was going to point out earlier that there's a fairy sitting on top right here, if you can see her. And you got a fairy on the card. I don't know if these are fairy cards. It looks like they are, but she very clearly is a fairy, and some of the other ones, not so much. All right, the High Lady, shut up. Your very first card was the High Priestess. Understand that gender does not matter in the tarot. So even though these are feminine, it doesn't mean that you can't be a male watching this video. It just means that this is the energy we're talking about. The High Lady of love and compassion, reverence, kindness, and consideration. The card number is a 1. And I had talked about Pile 2's reading, and the Magician is one of the cards in Pile 2's reading. And the Magician is the number 1 card in the tarot. So I will read the meaning of this. But she's grounded. She has a lot of heart chakra energy. She is definitely glowing. She's grounded and glowing. I'm laughing because that is the name of my course. So she is grounded, she's glowing, she's in this beautiful forest, and we are going to go to the guidebook. When the High Lady of love and compassion chooses to be your ally, she brings you a deep and meaningful message. She reminds you that only love is real. It is the sole, unconditional, and true power behind all means of manifesting out of the unseen into the material, which makes sense. 1 being the Magician, and this is the 1 card in this deck. Love's greatest creative power, and I don't know why I read that so weird. Love's greatest creative power is ignited by the conscious action of compassion, generosity of the heart, reverence, respect, and empathy for all living beings. All living things bring you profound power to live a life of happiness and contentment. Please excuse my reading. Again, Spirit is calling for us to slow down, and I'm trying to speed up because I'm highly aware of how long a 3 full card reading is on my phone, but that's okay. Spirit says slow down. So, heart, reverence, respect, and empathy for all things bring you profound power to live a life of happiness and contentment. That's the 10 of Cups that I was talking about, which is your last card we pulled out of the tarot. And kindness to all must be, why am I reading this funny? I can read. I could read. Let's see. To live a life of happiness and contentment, love, compassion, and kindness to all must be the impulse behind your thoughts, feelings, and actions when your intention is to create a prosperous and abundant life. Unconditional love will be returned tenfold. The High Lady also reminds you that when she chooses you or chooses to be your ally, she brings you evidence that you're loved. That's a big one. All manner of synchronicities align in your favor. If your question refers to a relationship, you're required to think of the other person and inquire what is in his or her highest good. Give selflessly without asking or expecting anything in return and let go. What is yours will come to you. Kindness will always return. Somehow you will receive that which you give in more ways than you imagine. So there's also the challenging position. So like if a card is seen as in reversed, and it's gently a reminder to snap out of self-centeredness. The ego has set a sneaky trap for you. You may have forgotten that to create an abundant life, you must be conscious of how your choices impact those around you. Are you trying to manipulate others? That's not you, so I'm not even going to go any further. The biggest piece of this and what fit into it is the fact that in order for you to be the balanced high priestess, intuitive, nurturing, able to see things even when they're hidden, and in a way where you're not necessarily reacting to it, it's not just stifling yourself and feeling like you have to put up a wall and be in a cage. You don't have to cage yourself. It's being able to find that balance. And with that, as you give love to others and you're also filling up your own cup, which Star card and me saying that I think was pile 2. So I've referred to pile 2 a lot for you. For pile 2, I referred to pile 1 a lot. For your pile, I'm referring to pile 2 a lot. So you may want to watch pile 2. You can choose to do that or not. But the biggest thing is it's about building up that love and compassion of yourself, letting your light shine so that you can then have a balanced energy when you're providing that love and compassion to others, because love is the key, but it has to be love of yourself too. All right, let's look at your soul truth card. Am I clear on what my soul really wants? And the back says, take out the shoulds. I don't know if I've said that a lot in this one. I know I definitely did in one of these readings. Get out of your head and pay attention to your heart's desires instead. Just summing it up, right? If you knew it was impossible to fill, what would you do? Wherever you go, go with all your heart. You can't stay stuck in an energy where you're stifling yourself, where you feel like you're in a cage. You can go with some armor and protection, but still allowing your heart, your love, your personality, your true authentic self to shine. So today's soul action is ask yourself let me try that again. Ask yourself what it is that your soul really wants. I am having a hard time reading. I don't know if it's the lighting or again, Spirit is telling me to slow down with you. I feel like that's the big thing, is that Spirit keeps slowing me down and having me tell you to slow down. So again, this isn't something you rush and jump into. This is something that you can ease into, but you've got to focus on taking those breaths, grounding yourself, balancing your energy and chakras in some way. So let me try this again, slower, as Spirit would like. Ask yourself what it is that your soul really wants. What does your heart crave? Take one step in that direction. What does your soul really want? Spirit says slow down. I mean, that message came through clear. Pile 3, it's all about balance. It's about that reconnection with yourself, with Spirit, with your heart, and being able to show that heart and that spirit without feeling like you have to put up this intense cage or facade, that you can just be yourself, still have your protections, call them in, wear them, whatever it is, but allow yourself to shine. Whew. I love the way that looks in the camera. All right, squirrel moment. I hope that those readings were helpful. If they were, or if you resonated with it, I'd love for you to leave a comment because I do enjoy reading them. I have had a few comments over time, and it's so nice to see some of the things that people have to say, whether it's personal stuff or that something hit, or even just, hey, there was a message in here that felt like it was in alignment with me, whatever it is. If you want to go into these journeys any further, if you feel like they did resonate with you or hit on something that you'd like to explore for yourself, I do have availability. And as I said, my website should now be showing that availability. And that's where the message to slow down is also for me a little bit. As always, thank you so much. Take care and take what resonates, leave what doesn't. These are general readings, but in 2026, let's be more playful. Let's try new things.